beginner's mind. That's what it's all about. Is just don't get to where you know too much here, because you'll find out that you don't. And so I try to recognize the fact that I really don't know anything. So the void, if you will, it's completely empty. That's what a void is. And the void that we often speak of is also emptiness. We could say it's emptiness itself. But I've said before, that it's the fullest emptiness that you'll ever see. And what do we mean by that? Is that what the void is the potential for everything. And what is the void beyond that? No idea. Void is not even a good name for it, I'm convinced, but I don't know what else. We have nothing else in language, I don't think, that will work for it. The darkness that we associate with void, it's not cold. It's actually a very warm thing, because it is love itself. This is love itself, because this is void, but this is void with its pants on, right? It just this is the void manifested. But it's not it is manifesting from the void. The void offers us everything. It offers us every experience, whether it is pleasure or pain, whether it is the sense of being. And the absence of the sense of being is not actually an experience, but the sense of being in it, whether it's individually or collectively, or the one thing noticing itself, which is ultimately what this is. This is the one thing noticing itself. This is, each one of us can say that I am it, and I am noticing myself. That's what this meeting is about. It's about me, if you will, noticing myself. But you can also, and there's not anybody in the room who can't say that. There's actually nobody in the room who can truthfully say, I'm not awake. It's, some people might think they're not awake, and some people may declare they're not awake, and that may be true in a conventional sense. But you are never awake, or it is, however you want to put it. What else can we say about it? That's about all I can say about it. It is the potential for everything, but it is nothing unto itself. That is the way it has to be. That's the way the math goes. Is that, so it feels like no thing equals everything. But what we could really say is that everything is no more than no thing, but no thing is much more than this everything, much more than this manifestation. It is all potential. It's the potential for you to become a singer or a mathematician. It's the potential for the leaves to fall from the trees in the autumn, and for things to bloom in the spring. It's the potential for a car engine turning over when the key is turned. It's the potential for everything. It's beyond imagination. It's beyond, you can't grasp it at all. You can't even really glimpse it. What you can do is you can, when we get in these conversations of death, is when it can happen, or it can happen all by yourself. You cannot not be it, because it is everything that is springs from the void. But there's no knowing yourself, because it's just beyond even knowing. But you can come to know of yourself in a very special way. And this knowing of yourself is really, that's what we're after. So that there can be conviction, real conviction. if I have conviction on something, there's nobody can back me into a corner on that because I have conviction on it. And you can say your best stuff and then say in there, and I'm not gonna be moved if it doesn't line up with my conviction. My conviction in this, it's not a matter of it being right or wrong. It's my conviction is just like this is. And it's not really my conviction unless I'm speaking as oneness. And it's oneness's conviction of its own existence. Oneness's conviction of its own, shall we say, divinity. Mm. This is the power of everything. This is the one thing that I have no better way of putting it because it's more like a verb than it is a noun. It's the one thing going on. One thing. But it's showing up as a million different things. It's showing up as everybody in this classroom. It's showing up as the trees and the shrubs outside my window. It's showing up as the light bulbs. It's that very emptiness that accounts for this fullness. The fullness of the world is the manifestation. And it's not just this manifestation. It's beyond just manifestation. It's also the undreamed, the unknown. This is part of the relativity is part of the spectrum. And what we term the absolute is also part of the spectrum. But we certainly can't comprehend actually the absolute. We're looking at many electrical lines coming out of one, and we're going, oh yeah, that's the one. But it's not. It's all of them. It's not one that you can pick out. So it's not actually figure outable. It won't compute logically, but it almost does here anymore. I mean, because I guess the reason I can say that is that I just don't question it. In the presence of conviction, nothing else really holds a candle. The idea that you might somehow let awakeness down or something like that, or I'm not worthy of waking up. That's a big one for people, a lot of people. And neither am I, as if there's something different over here, but just for the sake of it, the teaching, I'll say that Fredness, there was nothing about Fredness that warranted awakening, right? Just that realization happened. It didn't happen for Fredness. It happened through this body, through this Fredness, but it never happened to Fred because there isn't one. Us coming to logically understand every point, we can't. Ramana Maharshi didn't, right? Socrates didn't. Bunch of teachers over here. Thoreau didn't. Whitman didn't. But they knew enough, and in this thing, just like in undercover work, for spies, is we know everything we need to know on a need to know basis. You find out what you know when you need to know it. You find out what you need to know when you need to know it, and not before. So if we don't ever do anything to stretch the horizons of our understanding, we may feel like we're going to stay right here, but in fact, it's the heavy pressure of the outside world with the story of many instead of oneness, and story of separation being so common and so strong and just everywhere. It will wear down. It will wear down even conviction, because the thing that I like to maintain the most conviction about is the fact that I need to come back here, that I need to show up, that I need to read or listen or talk or do what I need to stay. Connected is not the word, but or the subtlety of it will overwhelm the profundity of it. And that's just the way it happens. It doesn't seem like it could, but it does. And I've seen many, many people swear to me, Brett, I've really got this thing. I'll never not know it again. And then that was on a Sunday, and come Thursday, they'll be going, what happened? What happened to who? And they will have already forgotten it. So we all lived. I always lived by being the exception to the rule. You know, I was the exception to every rule. And if we were all supposed to do something a certain way, that was for you sheep following, right? It was for you followers, where I was leading into new whatever. And in fact, I didn't have the capacity or even the willingness to just lead. I never led anything that didn't have, that there wasn't something in it for me. So the ability to just become one of, and we don't need to be a non-dual scholar here. We don't need to be non-dual giants here. We just need to be here, and we need to be this here now. That's all we need to know is that. So what is non-duality all about? Here it is. What else is it all about? What do you mean, what else?
The